Our Sashtanga pranams to Sri Sri Thakur, Sri Sri Ma and Swamiji Maharaj, and our humble pranams to Revered Maharaj. Welcome all to the today's session on the discussion on lectures from Colombo to Almora. Today we are going to start the lecture titled The Vedanta in its application to Indian life. So over to you, Maharaj. You please start.
Yeah. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukhat Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. I think before going to the class, just I thought we will do some Nididhyasana. If you study deeply Swami Vivekananda's life, the day his father passed away, from that day to till his passing away, there was not a single day where he lived a pleasurable life, comfortable life. আমরা সবসময় আলোচনা থাকি আমি কবে আনন্দে থাকি আনন্দে থাকতে পারি our ananda most of the time is a pleasurable life or comfortable life. However, I'm not saying that it is right or wrong, but we keep thinking that. And if you see in Swami Vivekananda's life, he never had a comfortable life the day his father passed away. From that day onwards, every day he had a struggle. This is one side. And we as a devotees, when everything is conducive, we are able to meditate, we are able to do japa meditation to some extent. And some little problem is enough for us to divert our mind, to distract our mind. And we also feel, this difficulty I have got, this challenge I have got, this problem I have got, so I am unable to meditate. I am unable to do my prayers. I am unable to do my sadhana. But if you see in Swami Vivekananda's life, he faced more problems than us. Like after his father passing away, as you all know that, in the next day itself, he was kicked out. Swami Vivekananda, his mother, and two elder sisters, and two younger brothers, all were kicked out from the house. They were jamindars. Now forget about the wealth, even they didn't have a house to stay. They didn't have a morsel of food even. So such a problem he had to face. Then slowly, so many people had offered themselves that you finish your graduation or post-graduation, masters, then we will give you the work. Because when father was there, father was a famous person. But since father passed away, the so-called people, whoever had promised, all of them shut their doors. The cruelty of the life or the cruelty of the situations has been shown very clearly in Swami Vivekananda's life. In spite of all that, he used to go to Sri Ramakrishna, he used to discuss Vedanta, and he sought for Nirvikalpa Samadhi. He was also working, he was taking care of his mother, sisters and brothers, one side. As a child, as an elder son, whatever he is supposed to do, he was doing it. The other side, his soul was searching for the spiritual experience. Then afterwards, he left his home and earth, he worked for the country, he worked for the mankind, and he came to the Western country. It was not a cakewalk. Initially, he knew no one, money was less, there was no proper clothing, and all. After some time, he got everything, he became so famous, but at the same time, character assassination started. Then that also he had to maintain for some time, and his own people, Indian people who were in foreign in those days, because of jealousy, they undermined him. They started saying that he doesn't belong to any institution, he is not supposed to teach Vedanta, etc., etc. And when he comes back to India, he was shown a grand welcome, which we all seen lectures from Colombo to Almora. But when he came to Calcutta, there was no doubt there was a grand function. After the function, unfortunately, the organizers brought the bill for him. We have spent so much money to organize a program to felicitate you, please pay it back. That was so much pain induced in Swami Vivekananda. I am the soil of this Bengal. And they organized a function, never mind, but they are asking the money for it. He felt so painful, but still he accepted and he didn't stop, he didn't become negative, rather he wanted to contribute, whatever is possible. And Sri Ramakrishna Jayanti, or birthday public celebration, they wanted to do in Dakshineshwar in those days. Everything was organized, and brother monks, including Swami Vivekananda, devotees, disciples, everyone entered Dakshineshwar. They were about to enter Dakshineshwar temple complex. Then the either Purohits, priests, or the leaders of the Dakshineshwar temple complex said that, "Oh Swami, you cannot enter Dakshineshwar." Why? Because you have traveled across the sea, so you have become blecha. You have lost your religion. You can't enter Dakshineshwar. He was the celebrity. He was the world celebrity, but he was told not to enter. Any other would have become angry, honored, quarreled, or then we will cancel the program. All things they would have said. But Swami Vivekananda said, all right. He said to his brother disciples, all right. If I am not able to enter, that's fine. That should not stop to celebrate the master's program or the Jayanti. You all celebrate Sri Ramakrishna's Jayanti and you return, saying that he silently went back to Belur Math and stayed without any repercussions in his mind, without any taking for tit for tat. Then when he said we should start a Ramakrishna mission, because first Ramakrishna mission started, then Ramakrishna Math after 20 or 30 years, officially it got registered. When he said all these things, his own brother disciple said, "Oh Naren, you went to Western countries, you stayed there, you have learnt all these things there, and you are saying this." Master never wanted this. Master wanted, Sri Ramakrishna wanted only for us to God realization, that's all. Why all this nonsense? Then Swami Vivekananda had to take pain to make them understand why this organization is required. Like this, so on and so forth, he had to face the problems. But his mind was always soaring for meditation and Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And with all the duty he did, I have finished my duty, I shall leave, saying that he left. Now, how this is possible? 2-3 angles we can think. One is detachment. I shall do my work as a mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, or whatever. Let me do my duty, but let me not get attached to any of them. If we can practice this detachment, all these things are possible. The second is God-centered life or spiritual or conscious-centered life. So all these great people, I have seen so many senior monks, when they got problem, their meditation was increased. When we get a problem, our meditation we decrease, our spiritual sadhanas we decrease. But in senior monks, I have seen great spiritual luminaries, they had increased japa meditation. So their dependency on God increased. So this is one of the sign of spiritual growth actually. So they faced more problems, more obstacles than us, but they had led a God-centered life or conscious-centered life, not the world-centered life. They were in the world, no doubt, but the worldliness was not in them. Because the worldliness is in us, that's why we are suffering. That's why we are thinking that is bad, this is good, all these problems. So when we read Swami Vivekananda's life, Holy Mother's life, Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, we should understand these things. And Holy Mother was the greatest Vedantin actually. She implemented all Sri Ramakrishna's teachings so beautifully actually. We don't think, Holy Mother had a Radhi, Maku, Nalini, or she made Rasgulla, or she fed and all. We take care of the situations or the incidents, no doubt. But she was the greatest Advaita Vedantin. To substantiate my argument, probably I will give an example. One of the monk, I think Vasudevanandaji, I don't remember exactly monk name. He asked, "Mother, how do you look at us? Ki bhave amake amaderke apni dekhe." She said, "My dear son, I look all of you as Swayam Narayana. Any mother will never say this. Oh, what we would expect, or monk was expecting, Holy Mother's answer would have been that you are all my children. But she said that I am looking all of you as Swayam Narayana. And Sri Ramakrishna also says to Naren, because I see Shiva in you, that's why I love you. The moment when I don't see you, the Shiva in you, that moment onwards, I will not be able to see your face. Swami Vivekananda loved Naren so much. Why? Not because of his talents, not because of his anything, not because of his disciple or whatever, because Sri Ramakrishna saw Shiva in Naren, that's why he loved him so much. And the Holy Mother used to see his son or daughter as Swayam Narayana. So these are the insights probably we should get. This is how it will help our spiritual life. And this also will help to face our day-to-day problems, our challenges, our situations. So that's why recently I was telling, there are so many problems, why the God created this world. So instead of seeing the world as a prison, world is a problematic place, why don't you see as a world as a gymnasium? The samsara as a gymnasium. The samsara as a school. In a school we might face difficulties, but we learn. So every situation, every challenge, every problem is something going to teach us with an open mind, with an alert mind. Let us learn the life lessons so that we can go further. Amake erukum Thakur kore diye chinkano. Why did Thakur do me like this? Because I am a great devotee. This is what our thing. That means we are resisting to understand the Thakur's will. Thakur is going to teach us something through this. Why can't we think in that way so that we will learn things actually? I mean, the funniest side, I keep on saying that the Thakur's account, the debit and credit, and our account doesn't tally. Like in a bank language, if you see the accounts language, whatever we say debit, bank says credit, and whatever bank says credit, we say debit. So similarly, why we cannot understand the God's will? Because our debit and credit, good and bad, God's good and bad or debit credit is very difficult to understand. So for that we have to progress in spiritual life, that emotional maturity is required. Then everything will fall at its place. Then what happens? There will be no complaint. Everything will be happening all right. Let it so happen. It is His will. Let it go on. I mean, again I tell funnily, this is what I do. When my mind gets little too much stressed out with so many situations which is out of my control, when I feel, when my mind gets really perplexed and no logic works, then I say, Kya par hat bajar mato der, kya par hat bajar. So saints have told already, the whole world is like it is like a dream-like or the Madras place like that. Then why should we find logic here? So the moment I remember this song, Bengali song, Kya par hat bajar mato der, kya par hat bajar, my mind becomes calm. Okay, all right, this is what the life is, the world is. Then I go further. So the problem, the solutions may not be externally, it is always inside our mind. We have to develop proper attitudes, proper understanding. Then we can have a peaceful life, calm life, happy life. By having money, we will be happy. By having a good husband or wife, I will be happy. Or obedient children happy. Good parents happy. All our happiness depends on others. That should not be the case. Yes, they all matter, no doubt, but the real happiness should depend on me, on myself, not on others. Why? If you depend on something that might happen, that might not happen. So how can I be happy at all times? Everyone are aspiring for it. Sab shame ami amra anande ki bhave takte pari. So when you depend on yourself, that is on the self, not on the body mind, on yourself or on the God. Devotional aspect on the God, and the Gnana point of view on the self. The moment you depend more and more on that, then you can be happy at all given point of times. without changing anyone and without changing anything in double quotes. Now summer is going on. If temperature comes down, I may be happy. That will never happen. That means I will never be happy, then that means. So that should not be the case. All right. We shall go to the Vedanta and its application to Indian life now. So like earlier we will do a para by para and we will discuss.
Yes, Maharaj.
Go ahead.
The Vedanta in its application to Indian life. There is a word which has become very common as an appellation of our race and our religion. I mean the word Hindu, which requires a little explanation in connection with what I mean by Vedantism. This word Hindu was the name that the ancient Persians used to apply to the river Sindhu. Wherever in Sanskrit there is an S, in ancient Persian it changes into H, so that Sindhu became Hindu. And you are all aware how the Greeks found it hard to pronounce H and dropped it altogether, so that we became Indians and so on. Now this word, whatever might have been its meaning in ancient times, as the inhabitants of the other side of the Indus, has lost all its force in modern times. For all the people that live on this side of the Indus no more belong to one religion. There are the Hindus proper, the Mohammedans, the Parsis, the Christians, some Buddhists and Jains. The word Hindu in its literal sense ought to include all these, but as signifying the religion, it would not be proper to call all these Hindus. It is very hard, therefore, to find any common name for our religion, seeing that this religion is a collection, so to speak, of various religions, of various ideas, of various ceremonials and forms, all gathered together almost without a name and without a church and without an organization.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you give the gist of it, anyone?
So here the word Hindu is, the meaning of the word Hindu is explained.
Yeah. Fine. So the word Hindu has come from Sindhu actually. The Persians, the people who are living are across the Sindhu river. So that was the thing. So in them, like in the Bengali, there is no va. In the place of va, they say ba. In the place of vi, they use the word bi. Similarly, Persians in place of sa, hes, they used to use h. So that's how Sindhu became Hindu. And that's how we got Hindus. So Hindu means it is not a particular religion, rather it is particular geography. The people who are living in that particular area, they were called Hindus. And when the Greeks came, how was difficult for them? They said I. So Sindhu became Hindu and Hindu became Indus for the Greeks actually. And from the Indus river, that is Sindhu river, that is Indus became from the Greeks in the Greeks, and they started calling us Indians. Just like Britishers made Bandyopadhyay as a Banerjee, Chattopadhyay as Chatterjee and all. They anglicized the Indian names. So similarly, Greeks also, they converted our name, that is Sindhu became Hindu from Persians and Hindu became Indus in the Greeks then, and from Indus we were named as Indians. So in that way, from this angle if you see, either Hindu or a Muslim, Christian or Parsi, Buddhist, Zoroastrian, any religion he may be, whoever is living in this area, geography, all of them are called Hindus. This is the original name. But now things have been changed. Now Hindu means it is only a particular faith. It is not the everyone. The Muslims and Christians, they won't accept them as Hindus because Hindu has become a particular denomination for the religion. And from that angle, Swamiji is saying that, so it is very difficult to name the religion. So the original name was what? Sanatana Dharma. The Hinduism, the original name is what? Sanatana Dharma, or it is better to call Vedikas. Swamiji, which he says. Sanatana means it is eternal or ancient. All right. And probably this one more thing, just it's an extra information I think. The original title was the Vedanta in its practical application to the problems of Indian life. Now it is Vedanta in its application to Indian life. But originally when it was published, originally it was the Vedanta in its practical application to the problems of Indian life. A small correction has done, but I am not sure who has done that correction. When this correction was implemented, I do not know. Yeah.
Yes. The only point where perhaps all our sects agree is here that we all believe in the scriptures, the Vedas. This perhaps is certain that no man can have a right to be called a Hindu who does not admit the supreme authority of the Vedas. All these Vedas, as all of you are aware, are divided into two portions, the Karma Kanda and the Jnana Kanda. The Karma Kanda, including various sacrifices and ceremonials, of which the larger part has become disused in the present age. The Jnana Kanda, as embodying the spiritual teaching of the Vedas, known as the Upanishads and the Vedanta, have always been cited as the highest authority by all our teachers, our philosophers, and our writers, whether dualists or qualified monists or monists. Whatever be his philosophy or sect, everyone in India has to find his authority in the Upanishads. If he cannot, his sect would be heterodox. Therefore, perhaps the one name in modern times which would designate every Hindu throughout the land would be Vedantists or Vedics, as you may put it. And in that sense, I always use the words Vedanticism and Vedanta.
Yeah, what will be the gist of it?
So here means that here the authority of Vedas is explained, that whoever is believes in Vedas, they are the actual Hindus.
So if you see in the old our Indian system, that is darshanas are earlier, now astika and nastika, theist and atheist. So according to our understanding, who is atheist? One who doesn't believe in God is atheist, and one who believes in God, the existence of God, is a theist. But according to the classical Indian philosophy, again I am telling you very clearly, this one word you have to remember in the course, classical Indian philosophy. So according to the classical Indian philosophy, who believes in authority of the Vedas, or who accepts the Vedas, they are called Astikas, and who doesn't accept the Vedas, they are called Nastikas. Whether you accept God or not, they are not concerned. But who accept the authority of Vedas, they are only concerned. So based on this, our classical Indian philosophy has divided into two groups. One is orthodoxy schools, the other is heterodoxy. Astika Darshana and Nastika Darshana. Under Nastika Darshana, one is Charvaka materialistic philosophy, then Jainism, then Buddhism. Now in Jainism, they worship Mahavira and other Tirthankaras. And they also have got some gods and goddesses also, no doubt. Though Buddha did not accept the god, but later his followers made the Buddha himself as a god. Of course, there are different, pros and acceptance and rejectance, but Buddha has become a god for the Buddhists, if not all, some of the schools. But they don't accept the authority of the Vedas. That's why they are called Nastikas or Nastika Darshanas, heterodox systems. And now Nyaya and Vaisheshika, logical Shilalism and atomic theory. Then Sankhya, then Yoga, that is Patanjali Yoga, then Purva Mimamsa, then Uttara Mimamsa, 6 systems, schools of philosophy. They are called Astika Darshanas. They are called theists. Why? Because they accept the authority of the Vedas. So Swami Vivekananda is saying that there are so many, like Vaishnavas are there, Shaivas are there, then Ganapatyas, means one who take the Ganesha supreme, then Sauryas, one who argue that Surya is supreme, then Kartikeyas are there, one who accepts Subramanya as the supreme, like in Tamil Nadu, then Shaktas, one who worship Mother as the supreme. So there are different sects in Hinduism. Then is there any common factor which binds all of us? If you ask, Swami Vivekananda is saying, yes, that is accepting the Veda as the authority. Whoever accepts the authority, Veda as the authority, all of them can be brought under one umbrella. That is the reason he said, instead of using the word Hindu, I prefer to use the word Vaidika or Vedanta. And he also explained what is the Veda. Veda has been broadly classified into 2 categories, 2 groups, 2 parts. One is Karmakanda, other is Jnanakanda. Karmakanda is a ritualistic portion and Jnanakanda is philosophical portion. And in some lectures I have given all these details. And this Karmakanda has been subdivided into 3 parts. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka. Samhita means eulogies. Indra, you are great, Varuna, you are great, and about Vishnu, different gods and goddesses, celestial beings has been praised there. Then Brahmana is how to perform the yagnas. Then the same complex rituals can be meditated. How to do meditation, different type of meditations, which is called vidyas, are seen in Aranyakas. So action-centered life in the Samhita and Brahmana and meditative, contemplative life in the Aranyakas. All the 3 put together come under Karmakanda. Then who am I? Who is the creator of this universe? And what is this universe? And what is the connection between all of us? To have a philosophical speculation, philosophical discussion, philosophical theories, all these things belongs to Vedanta, that is the Jnanakanda. And in Vedanta again, there are schools. Though we say Advaita Vedanta, there is a Advaita Vedanta, then Advaita Vedanta is non-dualism, then Vishishta Advaita Vedanta, that is qualified non-dualism, then there is a Dvaita, Advaita, Shankaracharya gave, Vishishta Advaita by Ramanujacharya, then Dvaita philosophy by Madhvacharya, then Bheda Abheda school is there, which gave by Nimbarkacharya, then Shuddha Advaita, which was given by Vallabhacharya, then the one more school is Achintya Bheda school, which is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are the 6 main schools of Vedanta, and there are some subsidiaries also among them. All right. So Vedas is the foundation for our philosophy, for our culture, for our country, and that is the connecting link, like the thread connects all the pearls. So Vedas are the connecting links among the Indians or Hindus, according to Swamiji. Yeah.
Maharaj, here it is said that by Hindu we are all those are believing in the Vedas are mentioned. So that means Charbaks are not called Hindus, like Jains, Buddhists, they are not Hindus. Like that, Charvaks are also not Hindus.
So when you raise this question, Hindu means in what sense you are asking this question? Hindu from geographical sense. If you ask, Charvakas are Hindus. If you ask from the authority of the Vedas, whoever accepts the authority of the Veda, he is a Hindu. If you say that, from that angle, Charvaka is not a Hindu.
No, like say when we are, means in a general sense, when we are declaring, say what religion I am following. So that is Hinduism, Buddhist, Jainism, Christianity, Islam, many things are there. So for Charvaks, okay, so the Charvaks, they will not, they don't belong to any of this religion.
No, because they don't accept the authority of God at all. Neither they accept the God, nor accept any permanent entity like self or Atman. They don't accept in rebirth. No God, no permanent entity called like self or Atman, and no rebirth also. So that's why they're not religious at all. They're atheistic. Not only atheistic in the sense they don't accept any Vedas or God, and they don't accept in rebirth also. Just enjoy, that's all. Enjoy your life. Have a merrymaking. That is their main philosophy.
So means religion, they said no, blank, no religion.
Blank, yes.
And
Yes.
one more thing you have mentioned, one is heterodoxy and the other one you said that astic and orthodoxy. Okay.
There is one movement in West, it is becoming quite famous, and followers are becoming more nowadays. That is, we are not no religious or non-religious, non-religion movement. So that is becoming more, and now it is increasing that we don't belong to ascribe to any religion. That itself is becoming one group, one sect actually now.
Okay. I want to make it a little clearer, for of late it has become the custom of most people to identify the word Vedanta with the Advaitic system of the Vedanta philosophy. We all know that Advaitism is only one branch of the various philosophic systems that have been founded on the Upanishads. The followers of the Vishishtadvaitic system have as much reverence for the Upanishads as the followers of the Advaita, and the Vishishtadvaitists claim as much authority for the Vedanta as the Advaitists. So do the dualists, so does every other sect in India. But the word Vedantist has become somewhat identified in the popular mind with the Advaitists, and perhaps with some reason, because although we have the Vedas for our scriptures, we have Smritis and Puranas, subsequent writings to illustrate the doctrines of the Vedas. These, of course, have not the same weight as the Vedas. And the law is that wherever these Puranas and Smritis differ from any part of the Shruti must be followed and the Smriti rejected. Now, in the exposition of the great Advaitic philosopher Shankara and the school founded by him, we find most of the authorities cited are of the Upanishads. Very rarely is an authority cited from the Smritis, except perhaps to elucidate a point which could hardly be found in the Shrutis. On the other hand, other schools take more and more refuge in the Smritis and less in the Shrutis. And as we go to the more and more dualistic sects, we find a proportionate quantity of the Smritis quoted, which is out of all proportion to what we should expect from a Vedantist. It is perhaps because these gave such predominance to the Puranic authorities that the Advaitists came to be considered as the Vedantists par excellence, if I may say so.
Yeah.
So why Advaitins are actually why by Vedantis we actually mean Advaitins, that is explained here.
Yes, you are right. Why the Vedanta word is attributed to Advaita in popular sense, not to the other schools of Vedanta, has been given, rationale has been given, Swamiji. Yes. Anyone wants to say anything else? They want to add any points? All right, no one is there. So now Swamiji is telling very clearly, Vedanta means it is the system. Sorry.
Can I speak about the word about Vedantist? Why Swamiji called, why we need what to speak Vedanta, not Hindus?
So what Swamiji has told, you can tell in your sentence, in your own way, in one or two sentences, yes.
Can I speak in Bengali?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Maharaj. Because when I read Colombo to a Almora, I am near, my home is near to Beluma. তো স্বামীজি ইন কলম্বোস লেকচার স্বামীজি বলেছেন যে আমরা যদি নিজেদের বেদান্তি বলি তার সেটাই বেশি ভালো হবে কম্পারেটিভলি যদি আমরা যদি হিন্দু বলা থাকি, কারণ এটা একটা প্রবলেম হয়েছিল ভারতবর্ষে যে ব্রিটিশরা তো আমাদের এই হিন্দু শব্দটা নিয়েছিলেন, কিন্তু আমরা যেহেতু সনাতন মানে আমাদের তো কোনো ধর্মগ্রন্থ নেই, কোনো দেবালয় নেই, আমরা একই বাড়িতে আমরা শৈবও থাকতে পারে, গানপদও থাকতে পারে, সবাই থাকতে পারে। আর এই একটা এই যে আমাদের এই যে সনাতন ধর্ম, এই ধর্ম যে সব ধর্মকে মানে আরো ধর্মকে আকৃষ্ট করে, মানে সব ধর্মকে একসঙ্গে নিয়ে চলার কথা বলে, এই অন্য কোনো ধর্মের ক্ষেত্রে এটা দেখতে পাওয়া যায় না। সনাতনের ক্ষেত্রে যেহেতু কোনো নির্দিষ্ট ফর্মাল স্ট্রাকচার নেই, সেই জন্য ওরা সমস্ত ধর্মকে একসাথে নিয়ে চলার কথা বলে। তো স্বামীজি চেয়েছিলেন এই যে ব্রিটিশরা যে হিন্দু শব্দটাকে খারাপভাবে ব্যবহার করেছিলেন, তার থেকে যদি আমরা বেদান্তি হতাম, বেদান্তিস বলা হতো, তো আমাদের মনে হয় হিন্দুদের উপর এত খারাপ পরিস্থিতি, কারণ স্বামীজি যখন পরিব্রাজক ছিলেন তখন দেখেছিলেন যে সারা ভারতবর্ষ
These are your views, okay? Swamiji has not told any of them in this present lecture. I told you very clearly that whatever Swamiji has told, you have to put in your own way, one or two sentences, my dear. So whatever your understanding of Swamiji's lecture or your way of understanding, you are putting it. I'm sorry. That will mislead the audience actually. So whatever has been told here by Swamiji, you have to tell in your way, in your own words, one or two sentences, that's all.
So here Maharaj, one point just that here the authority of the Shrutis over Smriti and Purana is also mentioned.
Yes. No, I have to give a bit background here, then you will understand. To establish any school of philosophy, like Advaita Vedanta is a school of philosophy, Vishishta Advaita Vedanta is a school of philosophy, Dvaita Vedanta is a school of philosophy, Chintya Bheda started by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is a school of philosophy. Now, how one can establish a school of philosophy? Can I also establish a school of philosophy tomorrow in whatever name I want? If you ask, then they say yes, but for that there is a rules and regulations. What is that? You have to give your philosophical, what do you say? You have to explain Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads and Brahma Sutras. Now you say your philosophy is different from any other schools or you have got your own way, then you have to give an explanation, that is commentary for Smriti Prasthana, that is called Bhagavad Gita, Shruti Prasthana, 10 Upanishads, then Nyaya Prasthana, that is Brahma Sutra or Sharirika Mahamsa Sutra. Once a person gives his own philosophical explanation for these three systems, the three scriptures, canons we can say, that is called Prasthana Traya. Traya means three, Prasthana means three canonical texts. So three canonical texts, and if it has been approved, it is logical and it has been approved, then such person's idea or commentaries can be taken and new system of philosophy, new school of philosophy comes into existence. So in that way, more or less, Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, more or less, everyone has done. Okay. While doing it, while Shankaracharya, when he is substantiating his arguments for either Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads or Brahma Sutra, he often quoted from Shrutis. Shrutis means here from Vedas and especially from the Upanishads. Okay. But whereas Ramanacharya less, Madhvacharya, when it comes to Madhvacharya and all, to substantiate his arguments, they have quoted from Puranas, which is called Smrutis, and Ityasas, that is from Mahabharata, Ramayana, or from Vishnu Sahasranama. Of course, Vishnu Sahasranama is part of Mahabharata. So like this, Smruti text has been, from Smruti text, there is enough quotations. So for this may be one of the reason why people attributed Advaita alone for the Vedanta and less other systems. Swamiji is one of the rationale. And one more thing, I think it is told in Manusmritis in one of the commentary that if Shruti means here Vedas, which was heard, because in the olden days there was no writing. So Vedas were not written. The Guru is to teach and the student is to listen to the teachings, he is to hear and is to remember. Shruti means what? Which was heard from the teacher, from the Guru, Acharya. Whereas Smruti means a person, what was the knowledge was in his mind, Smruti, that is from memory. From memory, he had put in the poetry form or in the prose form. That is called Smruti. So 18 Puranas written by Vedavyasa is under Smruti. Now Puranas, basically 18 Puranas and 18 Upapuranas. Now two historical textbooks we have got, that is Ityasa, that is Ramayana and Mahabharata. These are also been classified under Smruti. So in that way, Smruti has got lot of texts. And why these Smrutis came into existence? Because some of the Rishis felt, some of our forefathers felt, common people, for them it is to study and to understand Vedas, it is very difficult. So to make it simpler, the Vedic ideas and ideals were told in the story form, using the stories of gods or goddesses, or the kings and queens and the great people's life history, life stories. Using them, they gave the Vedic ideas and ideals, or the Vedic philosophy through these Puranas. That is the intention. But if you find any difference of opinion between Shrutis and Smrutis, Vedas have said so, but Smrutis, Puranas or Ramayana, Mahabharata is telling in another way, which is contradictory. Then what should we do? If you ask Shankaracharya, in his Bhashya in the Kathopanishad, in one place, he tells that Shrutireva Gariyasi. If there is any contradiction between Shruti and Smruti, Shruti always wins. The same thing we can see also in one of the Smrutikara himself mentions this. Smruti Smruti Virodhe tu Shrutireva Gariyasi Avirodhe Sada Karyam Smartam Vaidikavat Sada. It is told by Jabala in the Jabala Smruti, and it is also quoted in the Manusmruti by Kulluka Bhattacharya, Kulluka Bhatta. But basically, this whatever the Sanskrit couplet I gave you or the shloka, that is from Jabala Smruti, Jabala Rishi has told. He himself is Smrutikara. He himself has written a Smruti textbook, but himself says, if there is any difference, contradicting views between Shruti and Smruti, always Shruti wins. Veda wins. Yeah.
So shall I proceed, Maharaj?
Yeah, continue. Yeah.
However, it might have been, as we have seen, the word Vedanta must cover the whole ground of Indian religious life, and it being the Vedas by all acceptance, it is the most ancient literature that we have. For whatever might be the idea of modern scholars, the Hindus are not ready to admit that parts of Vedas were written in one time and parts were written at another time. They of course still hold on to their belief that the whole of the Vedas were produced at the same time. Rather, if I may so call it, they were never produced, that they always existed in the mind of the Lord. Thus, this is what I mean by the word Vedanta, to cover the whole ground of dualism, of qualified monism and Advaitism in India. Perhaps Okay. So here Vedanta is the wholesome of all the knowledge, and again here it is that Veda is Apaurushya that is mentioned.
Yes, clear. So Vedas was not composed like Ityasa was composed, like Ramayana was composed by Valmiki, Mahabharata was composed by Vedavyasa, and similarly Puranas were composed by Vyasa again. So similarly, who composed Vedas? If you ask, Vedas were not composed by anyone. And if no one composed, how did we get it? Oh, it was revealed to the Rishis. So they say Hiranyagarbha, or from the Puranic language, the Chaturmukha Brahma, the god of creation. In his mind, everything was there. So when the aspirant's mind or Rishi's mind, or even ours mind, if you can go to that extent, to that level, then definitely this mantra can reveal to us also. So in that way, Rishis, when they did a disciplined life, when they, through meditation, when their mind soared high, for them, these mantras, Vedic mantras were revealed, and out of compassion, they disclosed to their disciples, and that's how through the tradition we got these Vedic mantras. So Vedas are Apaurushya, it is not composed. So the foreign authors, they say Rig Veda was composed in this particular year, 10,000 years, and some Atharvana Veda were in 2,000 years, and all they say that, based on the language, development of language, syntax and all. That might be they say, but we Indians, we don't accept it. Because it was never written, it was never composed, it was only revealed text. It is Apaurushya. Then did it reveal at a time? No. At different points of time it is revealed to the different Rishis, no doubt. But it was a revelatory text, it was not written. So in this way, all the systems of schools of philosophy is included here. Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, Advaita Advaita, Shuddha Advaita, Achintya Bheda Bheda, Vishishta Advaita Advaita, all of them are included here because all of them are based on the Vedas. That is what the Swamiji's idea. So he's giving a broad eye or a broad explanation why we are Hindus. When you say, what does it mean? What is our roots? What is our philosophy? So what is our center on which we have to hold on? All these things Swamiji is giving the very broad view so that we can understand all these things. That is the beauty of it. Because many times there will be a lot of confusions about our religion, about our understanding, about our philosophy and etc. Yeah. One person has asked a question, how to see God in everything? So when you see God means what? God is the creator. So in the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Tat Sushtva Tadevanu Pravishat. Means when God, after creating the world, he entered into the world. It is a figurative usage, symbolical usage. That means what? God himself has been manifested on this world. The supreme consciousness or the cosmic self has been manifested as this world actually. So as a result, the God is there in every particle, in every person and in everything. Well, we are not able to see why? Because of ignorance. Now when you say Vishwarupa Darshana in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, God has got thousands of heads, thousands of eyes, thousands of legs, thousands of ears and all. What does it mean? Nothing but the whole world has been emerged from the God. And there is nothing other than the God. And this has been experienced by many of the saints. Because God means what? It is that consciousness, or from the Vedanta point of view, or from the Bhakti point of view. When you say he is omnipresent, he is sarva-vyapi, then how can you say that there is no God? Where there is a place where there is no God. I think there's a beautiful story from Karnataka, one great saint called by Kanakadasa. Kanakadasa, when he was in the monastery, when he was learning lessons from the Guru, so the Guru, to test the teachings, how much they have understood, he gave one banana for all the students. The condition was they should eat in such a place where no one is seeing. And the students were happy because they got a delicious banana. They went, one fellow hid under the cart and he ate the banana. One another fellow, he himself covered in the blanket, and inside the blanket he ate the banana. Someone went behind a building and he ate. Someone, he went and closed himself in a small room where there is no one and he ate. So like that, in different ways they ate. And when the next day all of them came, except Kanakadasa, everyone had finished the task, that is eating the banana. All the students felt, today Kanakadasa, though being a favorite student of our teacher, he will get nice scoldings. Why? Because this simple task he didn't do it. Then when a guru asked, where did you eat banana? Everyone started explaining that under the cot, under the blanket, or in the room, or behind the building, etc. Then when Kanakadasa's turn came, when he was asked, why you didn't eat banana? Then he said, sir, please excuse me, I didn't find a place where there was no one. Then everyone astonished. They said, you are a liar. How can you say that there is no place where there is no one? Then Kanakadasa says, well, human beings may not be there, but I was not able to find a place where there is no Lord. Wherever I go, wherever I try to hide myself, I saw that Lord is seeing me. Lord is there. Lord's presence, I felt it. Lord is seeing me. Lord is seeing every action of mine. I felt it. That's the reason I couldn't cover, or I couldn't find a place where there is no Lord, and I couldn't eat. So the Guru was very happy and he said, now you are the only one person who have understood the teachings of the Vedas properly. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, Sahasrakshi Sahasrapad. In Purusha Sukta we all chant, God has got 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes, 1,000 hands, 1,000 legs. When we say, what does it mean? God is omnipresent. So there is no place, there is no God. So in every place, in everywhere, there is a God. That is the reason we say everything is divine. Ishavasya midam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Upanishad says, whatever exists in the world, small or big, cover with Isha, cover with the Lord. Why cover with the Lord means what? Because you are a sadhaka, I am a sadhaka, I am not able to experience that self or God everywhere. So try to impose, try to cover everything with the God. So for us it is a sadhana, practice. And for the Siddha Purusha, for the person who have achieved this already, for him it is a fact that he will be able to see the Lord at everywhere. So to start with, I should start feeling experiencing the presence of the Lord in me first and foremost. Then afterwards in the elders, in the good things and all. Then slowly, that the presence of the Lord can be extended at all places with all beings. And the standard story is also Prahlada's story. When Prahlada's father asked, did Lord Narayana exist here and there, XYZ places, he asked, he said yes. In the pillar, yes. And when the pillar was broken and the Lord appeared. Why? Because out of faith, Prahlada could feel and see that Lord everywhere exists. So when we get purification of the mind, we will be also able to see the Lord in every place, in everything. All right. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.
Yes, Pranam Maharaj. So when will be the next class?
Next class. Yeah, we can have next class maybe 1st July, because afterwards I may not be available again for 1 week. 1st July we shall have.
Okay. Thank you, Pranam.